Hey everybody, I'm here with Dan from the surf band Jetpack, but also their alter ego Rancho Del Rey. How are you?
Oh, I am fine. Sorry, I was just my computer brought up a prompt that I had to get rid of
Oh, no worries.
that we
No worries.
started. Like I didn't know we started.
My first introduction to Jetpack and Rancho Del Rey was the Barkley last July. Um, I came out to the SG 101 convention and I saw you guys at the Barkley. And well, I was totally, I mean, first of all, the Barkley's really cool
It is.
atmosphere, but um the, the saxophone going around the audience, I mean, it really was a show. I before we go into the stories, I want you to tell me about what that whole summer was like for you.
That was interesting because just getting back playing for that whole year after COVID being shut down, it was great to see people we hadn't seen forever. And also, I want to say up front, I'm sorry I didn't see you. We're there, so far, and I know you didn't come just to see us, but you and some other people from the whole surf community online were there, and my thing with running this band and with Jennifer, who will be the first to tell you, she's like blind in one eye from the 90s radio keratotomy surgery that they used to do.
uh
They ruined one eye, and she had bad eye vision in the good one. So everything I do is I set up the whole band except for the drums, even the bass. If you notice all the different bass players throughout the year, so they play the same bass. I own basically all the gear, and with Jen, I transport the gear and set it up for her because dim lighting and bars and things like that she can't see, so I have to do all that. So my focus, as soon as I get into the place, is I'm in like scan mode. Like I might as well have the red light like a Cylon or Kit. That I'm always looking at the floor, going, "Where's this? Where's this? Did this come in from the car? Is this still sitting in the parking lot? Some guy offered to carry stuff in. Where did he go?" It's just like my focus is so on where's our stuff and did it get stolen all the time. And we've done really well for as long as we've been playing that we've barely lost anything. That I just do not see who's there, or somebody comes by and hits me on the back, "Hey, buddy," and I was like, "Hey, guy," and I'm just like, "Oh god, $1,000 guitar, where's that?" So I'm really sorry I didn't notice you were there, and whoever else might be listening that was also there. But I'm just like so zoomed in on this has got to we got to set up and get everything going and
Yeah,
entertain. But
well, it was a
yeah,
very, you did a double set that night, right?
yeah, we filled in for some COVID sickness from the network.
Nebulous.
Right. So I told Jeff Hanson, who I can't give enough credit to, that just so helps everything move along so well and continue here in SoCal. But I said, "Hey, we got the other band, and we've the set is different enough that we're going to be there anyway. Why don't we just do that?" And we did Rancho Del Rey in the cowboy hats, and I think we didn't go all out with the full outfits and everything, but we did a bit of that, and that was fun. And at least I hope it made it seem, at least feel a little bit like there were three bands there instead of two.
Oh, it was
Uh,
a lot of fun.
yeah, and that's that's always a fun thing to do. We just played the Barkley last night, and we did the same thing, but this time with the double bass and the full-on cowboy outfits. And also, I brought you something. You can't
Oh,
enjoy
really?
this right now, but I brought one of these lovely cheeseburgers with rings and fries from the Barkley. This is leftover.
Oh.
So I will eat this for you, but this was for you. So I had them pack up another one.
Nice.
I knew I was going to talk to you today. I don't know if you're vegan or vegetarian or whatever. Like Jennifer's a vegan, so she's a pain.
No, I'm not. No, no, I live in Philly, so
Right, cheesesteak.
right. All right, so now let's get into the stories. What's your number one story that your band wants you to tell? That, I mean, you don't think these are hilarious, but apparently they are.
I think the best one, and I was just telling every night, like just last night, somebody always comes up and they want to know because we play such a variety of stuff. Because I really view us as a variety band and not a surf band. And like Jeff and other people say, like our, I guess they phrase it as a pre-surf band that we play a lot of 50 stuff, like the Link Ray, Dwayne Eddy, Johnny and Santo, or Santo and Johnny,
Yeah, yeah.
all that stuff. Johnny and the Hurricanes. We play a lot of rock and roll that wasn't called surf, but it might as well be because it doesn't have lyrics and is pretty hard driving and guitar and saxophone driven. Um, we have digital modeling amps, which I know a lot of people still are really like, no, you got to bring all tubes. And I have tube amps, and they are great paperweights that sit home and collect dust. But I got like 10 years ago or 12 years ago, I think now, when the Fender Mustangs came out, those were fantastic. And we even knew a guy that worked at Line 6 here in California, and we went out to Calabasas and used their stage, which is also their lunchroom. It's a fantastic setup. We used that as rehearsal, and he would drum with us. And then he'd say, "Hey, come look at the stuff we're working on." And I'd look at it and go, "Yeah, not sure. Oh, I could get you a discount." No, no, no. But when those Fender Mustangs came out, I played one at Guitar Center, and I set it on deluxe reverb because I have a deluxe reverb. And I mean, this is going to sound like I'm making this up, but our Guitar Center on the west side here on Pico Boulevard is really quiet. There's barely anybody ever in it, at least when I've been there. So I plugged it in and played it, and I was like, this sounds amazingly close. And I bet if you go in the manual, you can go do a deep dive into the settings and tweak everything, which you can, which nobody ever thinks about. They just use the presets and dial it. So I thought, Guitar Center's like a library. I'll just buy one, and then I'll bring it back in a month when I'm done with it if I don't like it. So I brought it home and set it right next to the actual amp, played, plugged the cord in, played, plugged the cord back in the other one, played. And I thought, man, with like a cymbal ringing over this, let alone a whole band and a bar making noise, nobody's going to hear the difference. So I got one, and then Jennifer got one. So we go out and play a show, and the usual surf, I was going to say snobs, I mean aficionados, the surf aficionados standing back like this the whole time judging. Everybody knows who I'm talking about, and bless their hearts, they show up at least, right? This guy's watching, and we're done. And the next band on, it was like I forgot what, there was no theme to the night. There was like a guitar wizard, like a Steve Vai guy playing that we played, and then some band that was kind of like a modern, I'm so out of it, I'm old, but they remind me like Faith No More. There's like heavy guitar, rocking, but also a DJ with a turntable and sampler and stuff. And they were young kids, and that was kind of cool. We saw a few songs of that, but we had to pack up and not have the stuff stolen in the car. So we leave usually after a few numbers. But they were setting up, and the crossover was our stuff was still on stage, and they were bringing stuff up. It wasn't like you get all your stuff off and then they bring theirs on.
Yeah.
So this aficionado is talking to this other guy, and they're both a little gray-haired and maybe 10 years older than me, but not much. And he's pointing to the gear, and he's telling his friend about the band that was just on, which was Jetpack. He's like, see these guys, they have the tone, they have the sound, they know what's going on. This next band that's coming up, see those digital amps they have there on the stage? Like, you can't use that. That's garbage. No. These other guys that were just on, they know. And I lean over to Jennifer. I'm like, should I go bust that guy's chops and tell him in front of his buddy there that that's our stuff still sitting on stage that they just heard for the last hour? And she's like, oh, don't. No, the guy was really nice. He gave us a tip. So, we're like so not gear snobs, but that always happens where somebody comes up and says, what amp is that? I couldn't see it, and you already put it away. One of the craziest stories is I set it to, usually I set it to a Princeton sound, so it breaks up faster than my deluxe reverb. And it really does, about, I'd say like 90% of the way, and it's already 12 years old. I'm sure the new ones are way better, but it really gets that tone and sound. And the guy came up to me who couldn't see when we were playing a really small crowded bar. And he said, I didn't see what you got, but I love that jazz master you're playing. I could tell you were playing at Princeton. And I wasn't playing at Princeton. It was the the modeling amp, but I had it set on Princeton. And he was telling me about how he's got a modern Princeton, but he also has a vintage one in his studio. And you know, I told him like that's the sample of a Princeton, you know, and you know, it's just the funniest thing that there's still to this day so many gear snobs. I mean, it reminds me of like what was it, 25 years ago when Neil Young was telling everybody that the sampling of a CD was garbage and it would never, you know, get all the information that vinyl or even a tape recording does. And nowadays, you know, everybody knows that it can sample, what is it, like 1,000 times over, you know, but it's just, you know, so convenient. And the thing with us is I don't know any other band that just blatantly says, here's our digital amps. Too bad if you don't like it. We're not about, oh, I can hear are those KT66 tubes in there. It's like, we're here to put on a performance. We're here to entertain. For the bar, we tell them like, are you ready to sell some drinks? Because we're here to sell drinks for you. You know? That's our job. We're just entertainers. And I guess if I ever make another album, then I will dust off the tubes and the amp. So when I turn it on again, it doesn't smell like it's on fire when it warms up. But, you know, that's the funniest thing that routinely happens is we just play these $300, which you could get now on YouTube, Craigslist for like $100 or $120.
Wow.
Use amps. That sounds like $1,000 or $2,000 amp. And, you know, yes, not in headphones when you're sitting at home going, oh, I can tell. But, you know, in a bar, again, with a, you know, ride cymbal ringing over it, nobody knows. And nobody cares because, you know, where we play, they're slugging back drinks, hopefully, because that's why they hire us.
So, is the Barclay kind of like your go-to venue?
It is. We're there every month. We had a few months off. We haven't been there since December until last night because Jennifer, a couple of decades ago, had a motorcycle crash where a taxi blindsided her and threw her into the street over the car. Wow. And she said she like came to and she's like, hey, that's my leg up there. So like the arteries and everything were still attached, but her leg was up over her head.
Oh my God.
So they put that together, and over the decades, her legs grew where one turned as a right angle over time. So she just had that finally fixed where they said, she would start clotheslining herself, walking and fall over. So they said, we got to take your leg apart and put it back together straight, just start fresh. And then they replaced her knee because that was the whole linchpin and the whole thing. So they put in a fake knee and put the bottom half of her leg back on straight. So that took some time to heal. So last night was our first major outing, we played one show. We played the Huntington Beach Marathon about a month ago, and we were on stage outside, which was great. But she just sat in a chair, and nobody cared because there was a beer garden and people running. But this was her first time just right in front of everybody standing up for the whole show, basically. She sat a little bit, but was a real trooper and toughed it out. So we haven't been back for the longest time, but usually we were there for years and years, like every month. And that in a place right here, 2 miles down the street from us, are our two go-to places that we just kind of always consider home for years and years.
Nice.
But the Barclay is fantastic. You know, they're fantastic to us. The crowd, you know, the people come, and it's the same faces over and over. I just love South Pasadena. It's way better. I wish I could afford to live there. It is so much nicer than where this place is. But anyway, yeah, that's our go-to, and we just love them to death, and they're so good to us. And Frankie of the Volcanics, you know, his brother is the guy that owns the Barclay, and that's like the whole family there, and we just love everybody there. It's just the best. Couldn't be better.
Jennifer plays sax and guitar, correct?
She plays, in our band, she plays bass as well. She was, I forgot why. I think it was because we went somewhere and we were playing some country club, and we had to just do one set, and it paid well for like their cocktail hour. But then when it gets dark, you're outside, so you're done. And we didn't have our bassist available, so she said, "Well, I'll just learn the bass parts, and we'll just do a trio." And we've stuck with that for like the last year or two too. So we have a mini set where Jennifer just plays bass, and they're usually it turns out it wasn't planned, but the Link Ray tunes. But
Yeah.
and the Davy Allen in the Arrows tune, what's that, from Wild Aces or whatever it's called. She plays on that, and she's just all over the place with everything. She plays flute as well. Like I was telling somebody the other day, we play not the Ventures, but the Burt Whedon original version. The guy who wrote Ginchi, he's got two versions of that, and one of them's got the solo on the sax, which is what we do, but it's also got a flute solo, which is kind of fun. I'm like, we should just bust that out sometime. And also, because I like to do weird covers, I said we should do Focus Hocus Pocus, and you can play the flute on that. But I don't think I can convince her on that. But yeah, she plays the sax. She teaches ukulele to kids. She plays guitar. She can play the bass. I might have to make her sing. Who knows?
Oh,
But yeah, it's just fun having a lot of multi-instrumentalists. Even our drummer, he plays guitar and bass. I play a bunch of instruments since school when I was a little kid, like trumpet that I don't inflict on anybody. And once for Rancho Del Rey, I brought out the mandolin to the Barclay once, but I gotta get a better pickup for it. And our the bassists we've had, most bassists play guitar and do other stuff as well. So we always have, like, I always tell people it's like Arcade Fire but less talent. Or at least
oh man,
we could all switch around, and I'm not going to get behind the drums, but I could in an emergency if somebody had to run out and move their car for one song, but we had to keep playing. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. But it's great, being in a huge city like this where you can just find people that play a bunch of stuff, and you say, "Oh, it's too bad we can't do a flute part." Somebody goes, "Oh, I play flute." Okay, bring it over. The soprano sax is great for us. I love that because we do the Surf Tones, Dave Meyerson's version, the cover, which a lot of them, that's the cover of Moment of Truth. We do that one, and that's soprano. And there's no surf band that brings out a soprano that you ever see. And then everybody always comes up and goes, "What's that metal clarinet thing?" And I have to tell them it's technically, can I be technical? That's called the Kenny G horn. But plays that, and then when we do Planet Claire, the intro of that, at least up to where the vocals come in, and then I save everybody from hearing me sing. She plays it on that as well instead of the singing part. So we have a lot of fun with that. Casbah, the Sandy Nelson tune, it sounds very Snake Charmery as it is. So we give her a big solo after the drum solo. So it's, we have a lot of fun just throwing stuff in that you don't think you're going to see that when you say, "Hey, I'm going to see a surf band." Well, there's going to be the reverb tank and three guys. But yeah, it's just been great for the longest time, just having this crew, or at least, people to pick from. And we have subs too, and from other bands we know. So, we're just really spoiled not living in the middle of like Boise, Idaho or whatever.
Yeah.
Where somebody says, "I can't find a drummer for a year now," and you're like,
Yeah.
wow. It's, every place we go, we have just such a great community to work with in the Western bands and the surf bands. And like I said, Jeff and the Barclay and the Cinema Bar and all of our usual haunts, and Turnbull's out in Whittier, which we'll be at. And then the usual annual things we play at, like I said, annually we go to the Huntington Beach Marathon. That's a big thing, and there's bands right on the running path that they run by, and there's a band playing. You hear them for 2 seconds, and then they're gone. we get to play on the big stage there. Jeff has us at Surfing Sundays every year, which will be in June, I think, this year again. And we were at annually the pier, not the pier, the port of LA, where all the cargo ships with all the garbage from China comes in. Barbie dolls and Matchbox cars. We're out there every year for the 4th of July. That's great. So and everybody's just, bends over backwards to accommodate and make everything happen. So it's just, it's just.
So why didn't you bring Jennifer in while we still have some time here?
She's, she's wearing the same outfit and hair that we played, and I'm wearing the same outfit I fell asleep in last night. And of course, so is she, as you can tell by looking.
Yeah, wake up like this. I heard Dan talking about our usual haunts that we play, but I was thinking to myself, what I like about playing in the band is we're on a couple booking sites and we get booked to play a lot of different weddings, parties, festivals, events, and you never know what you're walking into.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
That's fun. We've done some crazy stuff. I mean, we've traveled. We played at a wedding where they wanted to hear the Dick Dale theme song from the roller coaster. What was that?
Oh,
the Space Mountain. Yeah, the Space Mountain theme,
which was the Carnival of Animals.
Yeah, and it was Angeline of the Billboard fame that was the officiate. What do you call it?
Angeline,
yeah, she was officiating the wedding.
LA icon. Yeah, she was there.
The sexy sax guy from the internet was there.
Oh yeah, the guy. The guy who plays the Wham song.
Yeah. He was there, like walking through the audience, and the out of state guests at this wedding were like,
"What the hell with Californians?"
That was pretty crazy. And we've done, like burlesque, and Dan is not. He's talking about the regular, like our, where we do our regular thing around town. But I think what's fun about playing in the band is these jobs that we go on from the booking sites that we don't know what they're gonna do. It's like, oh, are they gonna like us? So, are they? And they always turn out great.
That's fun for you.
Oh, awesome.
I'm the one that has to communicate with them and talk to them, and that's a lot of fun when it's booked a year in advance, and then the wedding's next week, and then you get an email and they say, here's the 30 songs that we hope that you play some of them. If not, can you learn maybe 10 of them? And we're like, oh my God, these are all vocal tunes. And then, they're completely out of our genre too, as well, like Uptown Funk or something, which we played in this. Jennifer and I used to play in a swing band together here in LA as well. So we play some of that stuff, but not in this. And, some of the answers are just a hard no. A lot of it is like, oh, you're a surf band, great, here's 3 Beach Boys songs and a Jan and Dean song that we assume you do. And
right
no, but yeah, so the unknown, that's exciting but also terrifying with
that's what I like.
Jennifer, I want to I was speaking to Dan about this. I saw you your band at the Barclay last July. I came out to the convention and I got to see you at the Barclay, and of course both sets were amazing. To see you live is different than hearing you, on a record or such. It's such an experience, and your interaction with the crowd and the sax was Dave was going nuts, of course, and tell me about that feeling for you, just mingling with the people.
That's my favorite part about going out to play is especially they love it too when I like step out into the audience and play to them, like there's maybe some sad sax at the bar or something. I'll go up and I'll play and
make them blush.
Yeah, I like that. That's my favorite part about going out to play is a crowd, of course, and playing in front of people. I get a lot of abuse in this band because he wants me to play. He wants me to play this horn, this part, this style, that style. I get stretched a lot.
I push you to do what I know you can do, is what she means to say.
Yeah. And, not to mention the guitar stuff and the bass stuff, and that I've all had to kind of learn under the gun.
Well, what are your plans for the summer? I
Oh,
know I saw some surfing Sundays are coming up, which Dan mentioned. I saw some videos on YouTube of your surfing Sundays previously.
oh yeah.
Um,
Good time.
what's
Surfing Sundays
Uh,
is always really fun, though.
Yeah,
I
that
really
is great.
enjoy that. There's
Huntington
always,
Beach,
yeah, always great bands and
Surf City.
it's playing surf music right out on the beach in Surf City. I mean, where else? Where's there better in the whole world, to play surf music?
I got to visit the pier, um, and see. I actually there was a surfing competition there for ESPN. I think that weekend I was out, and so the stage wasn't set up, but just I mean it was so beautiful. Like the landscape was beautiful. You have this beautiful ocean backdrop. So one day I would love to see that. I think that would take like the experience to another level.
It does.
That's such a great show that they put on the Surfing Museum, the International Huntington Beach Surfing Museum, and Jeff works that whole thing and books everything for that. Jeff Hanson, and it's just every year it's just something to just months and months ahead of time to just look forward to. That put back the calendar and it's a month away, Sunday, and it's just never a disappointment. Seeing the other bands, everybody's just great to see, and the big grassy knoll or whatever you call it, the big incline that everybody sits on and brings their parasols and coolers and beach blankets and chills for the whole day. Yeah, it's fantastic. I think they should do it every week, but once a month, I guess, is as good as they can do it.
So I want to tell our viewers, you can go to the official website for Jetpack. The link will be in the description. And thank you so much.
If I remember the password, I'll update it too. I think it's free Halloween, but Facebook and Instagram are always updated.
Okay, cool. We'll put links for that in there as well. Hey Jennifer, tell me a little bit about your drummer and what's so special about him.
Well, he is the consummate professional. He's such a joy to work with. I can't tell you that he always shows up prepared. He always shows up early and set up. He's ready to go. He's learned the material. We've played all kinds of situations, from wet grass to windy situations to cramped quarters to, like really cramped quarters, with all kinds of things. And I've never heard a word of complaint from him.
We played at Roxanne's in Long Beach, the Tiki place, where we had to play as a 3-piece because we couldn't fit 4 people and they didn't have room for drums.
Wow.
He has a cocktail set that's kind of like stacked, and he's playing like a vertical, like a skyscraper version of a drum kit with his hands for that gig, and he made that work too, which was crazy because you can't even fit a band.
He always makes it work, and not only that, but I always feel confident playing with Mark in any situation because he has a great range, a great range of volume too. He can play very quietly to really raucous, and everything in between. I've heard him rock out. We played a wedding once and he was rocking out with some brushes. Like really rocking it and making great sounds and everything. So his range of musicality is also really amazing. It's just really a pleasure.
All you guys though have what's great also. I don't know if any other band does this, and this sounds terrible when you say it because anybody hearing it would say like, well, I don't want to have you guys play for me, and I don't want to see you guys, but we don't reherse. We just do it like because all of us have played in swing and jazz bands and stuff. I know, but you come prepared. You send somebody the music, they show up and they play it. And that's like how everything that's everything that's not rock goes. Like I don't know if rock people know this or not, but if you're like hired for like a jazz gig or something, you just show up and you get the book, or they say, well, Autumn Leaves, this Summer Wind, all this stuff. I just email the song list to people and say, here's some new songs. We should do these 6 this time. See you there. and this isn't brain science or rocket surgery. That if you can't learn these 3-chord songs,
he doesn't let his hair down enough.
My hair's longer than yours.
I hate guys
you're
that have
using the wrong conditioner.
I hate guys that have better hair than me.
No, but Mark is great. Mark is so good because I think I don't know anybody else that as a drummer that and we found out who we can send songs to, and they don't learn them, or they say, oh, I didn't have time to learn it. But Mark, you just mail it to him. Here's 12 songs. We should do these. And
he's like, he shows up prepared.
He shows up and knows them.
He's like a dream. I've heard other bands talk
about
we're
their spoiled.
Yeah, and we are very spoiled with everybody.
Area.
We also have a new bass player who is wonderful. He plays upright, and he plays the electric $40 bass.
Well, his bass is more than $40.
Yeah, his bass. We're talking about the Jetpack bass.
We had to wean him off his 5-string and get him to play, the Jetpack. And like, well, here's the bass that matches. We have sets of matching. We have the black guitars. We have the Easter egg pastel guitars. We have the candy apple red guitars, which are the ones we play the most. So it's like, you're in this band, you play this. We view them as props, it's like we put on a play and here's your prop, you don't get to bring your thing from home all the time. But yeah, he's great too. And the Barkley, that was his, when you count it, is his 3rd or 4th show with us.
4th show. It was really good.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And nobody ever says like, oh, you got a new guy. Like nobody can tell,
So Jennifer, you had talked about having some more stories that you would like to tell. Let's get that rolling.
Oh, I'm now that you asked me, I'm like, stories. Oh my!
I told mine. What it is?
I forgot what we talked about. Stories.
Well,
we're talking about the booking sites where we get to go into different situations.
Oh, we had to go to a wedding. Yeah, we had to go to a wedding, and they wanted us. They wanted a surf band, but they also wanted us to play Black Sabbath.
Oh wow!
So I took that very literally. They didn't tell us which songs. They go, just some Black Sabbath would be good.
Oh, that was fun.
So I literally said, you know what? I'm going to take them at their word, and we're going to play the song Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. So we did that one. So that was great. And I did the vocal, which was great. And I think I picked up the red spotlight and held it like under my face as I did that. And
I had a blast soloing on Paranoid on tenor sax.
Yeah, the saxophone version of Paranoid.
I didn't know that it would lend itself so well to a song like that, but it was really fun.
I just love crazy cover versions of stuff. That's like a huge thing with me, which is why I do so many of them. But like my favorite covers are like the Vanilla Fudge, Keep Me Hanging On, one of my all-time favorite songs. Just totally weird, right? Or like all the stuff Richard Cheese does. That of course is just hilarious to no end to me, but also very good. But that was the same wedding. The bride, I think it was the groom that wanted Black Sabbath, and then we also had to learn Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid, all in the same wedding, and that was great. Again, having like a band that can just switch gears,
handle it,
where it doesn't sound like it sounds like a rock band trying to do show tune, or a show band trying to rock. Either way can fail miserably. But
I always get this when I show up for a gig. People always think I'm a singer. I guess because it's being a woman, and I kind of don't look like your typical tenor saxophone player, when I show up and start pecking, they're like, oh, we play. I've even heard like we played someplace, we played a Rancho Del Rey thing, and guys would come up to me and say, I was surprised. I was surprised because they don't think that a person like me would get up there and start doing all this growling and honking and, rock and roll stuff. And I've even, I've played jazz gigs where people come up to me and say, I really enjoyed your singing. I said, well, I didn't sing. Didn't you see me in the section in the front?
Those were the ones with the full bar, I think, where they knock them back the whole time.
Yeah.
We played the Rancho Del Rey show, that one in Orange County, where when I was talking to people afterwards before we left, and the guy insisted that he wanted to hear you sing though.
Yeah, well.
And he's like, I want to hear her sing. And it's like, but she doesn't sing. Right? That's her whole gimmick. We're were non-vocal. And
I
he's like,
sing-
but I want to hear her
I
sing.
sing all the time.
And he's getting money out, like we're gonna go back on stage and okay, Jennifer, get up there, dance, monkey.
I was a in school music teacher for 4 years, and I sang and played guitar every day, all day, every day. You know, I sing. I sing. He never let me. I guess you can't sing with horn in your mouth, but he never let me sing.
Well, what are we going to sing? Like Little Do Scoop or something?
I don't know.
That nobody.
I guess
nobody
being
I was going to say nobody wants to hear, but I was going to say none of us want to play.
Being an instrumental band, I guess.
Yeah.
He won't let me sing.
So where did you teach music?
In Torrance.
Oh, wow.
That's California people who don't know. This is, all over. Not.
Yeah, and now it's the pandemic took care of that.
Torrance is where Buffalo is, and the school that they used for Beverly Hills 902.
Yeah, I still Zoom
That's
teach.
Torrance's
I still not Zoom teach, but FaceTime teach.
Okay. Were you about to say Catholic school?
Yeah.
I went to Catholic school.
Did you?
Yes. And looking back, it was not quite as terrifying as what the real world was. At the time, I thought it was scary. The nuns were scary. But, man, the music classes, it was so, I don't know. Catholic school is a great thing, I think.
I'm teaching right now. I took over her job when she was laid up with her leg at a Catholic school. I teach after school classes. I teach chess and science classes, and those kids are like way more crazy and chill than, I heard Catholic school, I have all
they're not
same. Yeah, they're crazy. They're crazy, especially after school. Yeah. They kill each other and get away with it if you'd let them. And the threat of going to the office doesn't help. And
no,
their parents are just totally like, whatever, man, cool. You're like, wow, this is not like the Catholic school I heard of growing up.
Well, so we talked about this in between our segments, but I want to know what that thing is behind you and what are some of the things that went into that?
Well, this is the tricorder here from Starfleet issue from the 23rd century Star Trek. Jennifer and I went to a wedding one year, and it was on Halloween on the Queen Mary. It was a costume wedding, so we went in costume, and I went as Kirk when I had the proper haircut. And I got Jennifer the green makeup, and I made her out of a stripper outfit we found on Sunset Boulevard. It was a knockoff of a Ahura dress, but unlike Ahura's dress, it was slit down to the belly button.
Oh God!
I don't sew well, so I got a bunch of fabric tape, and I just taped it all shut up to the neck, and then put all the ornamentation and the gold braids and everything on it, and then I built her this tricorder.
Don't you have a picture somewhere?
So yeah, it's behind the wall here. So this is just paper because I'm cheap. I'm not going to buy one of these props, for $200 at some site.
Yeah.
So it's just paper. I worked at a graphic house, so I made this on the clock at work when I was supposed to be doing something else.
Can you see this?
There we are.
Wait, get the glare off it.
Oh my God! Look at that.
He's pretty good with props and costumes and printing. So
of course I'm playing in a surf band for hundreds of dollars a year. The route I've chosen instead.
Well, this leads me to my next question: how you
survive?
No, how you use that printing on your guitars. Now, you told me a little funny story about somebody coming up to you and saying, "Oh, that's
the jazz bass, the Candy Apple jazz bass. That's the Jetpack bass. Again, I own that, and as we were saying, I view this. We're really emphasizing the show. Like this is like a play. We're not in it for our artistry and showing you art. We just entertain, and what people you want to hear tequila every 2 hours, we'll do it. You want to hear Wipeout every third song, fine. Oh, I can make another one. But this again, this is just printing as well.
It's coming off.
This bass is actually like so many of ours. This is a Squire, and this is a cheap Squire. This is an Infinity. This cost is half as much as the whole guitar. We got this on Craigslist, and to match my Jazzmaster, which is the Japanese one, which is very expensive and nice. It has a matching headstock, so I made a matching headstock for this. But you peel this up, and it just says Squire in black. And then, you know, because it looks like this, and you throw this red herring in there to people, and we've always had people come up to whoever's playing bass for us at the time saying like, oh man, 60s jazz bass, and oh, you know, it's original pickups, and you know, any modifications you've done over the years and what. And you're like, dude, you got 220s on you? Because that's what that costs.
Did you do that with your Squire Jaguar too?
The Jaguar, I did the same thing.
Squire Jaguar, it's a Fender.
Well, that I'm not trying to pass off Squire. I love Squires. They're my favorite guitar company.
They're good.
And then Epiphones I love as well. You know, I have plenty of expensive guitars, and I just cannot just promote Squire more. Last night I broke the third song on Jetpack. I busted the string on my Jazzmaster, and I picked up a Squire, and I played it for the entire rest of the show. You know who complained or said it didn't sound right? Nobody. I was telling everybody, nobody cares. They're just there to have a good time and watch the band have fun and hear you play right notes. And none of that has anything to do with the brand name on a guitar. So we, you know, if I could, I made a joke to somebody once. I want to do the reverse of what everybody does online on these guitar forums, and they show you their build, and then they sand off where it says Squire and paint the guitar and get a Fender decal and all that stuff. I want to like cover all my Fenders up and put Squire on them. And just do the reverse and just mess with people's heads.
Awesome.
But
well, is there anything you want to mention before we sign off?
Oh, just what do we cover? We love all the places we play. We love all the folks that see us.
We love the band.
We love Jeff. Jeff is always out there, just keeps promoting. It's just so good.
It's wonderful.
And you, of course, you're just a huge addition. Yeah, I mean, the band doesn't, you know, people still right now. This is a good reminder me about a couple of Planet Reverbs. People that email to buy it, and I always tell people ahead of time, like the band you see now, or if you watch YouTube, that's not what it sounded like 20 years ago. You know, it's a whole different thing.
I keep encouraging. Dan has written music for Rancho Del Rey. We have some originals that we do, and he's got some in the can, and I'm always encouraging him to, like, we got to make people want a CD, they want an EP, they want something to buy. Just, and he's like so into going out just to play live.
Perform.
He just wants to perform. You know that.
Well, I really enjoyed the Rancho Del Rey music.
I don't know if we played any originals. Did we play originals?
When he was there, we probably played. I think we probably played one or two. Like the.
Well, what you guys said at the show was that you had country-ish songs that you do in Jetpack, and you were
country adjacent. Yeah. Like our surf is surf adjacent. I think it's Bernard of Parvignon, who's also in our circle of friends. I think he called it that, or maybe it was Insect Dave. But so Jetpack's country or surf adjacent, and Rancho Del Rey is country adjacent. And neither of the bands sit right in the genre in the center, but they're on the fringes. So that's like all the Dwayne. Well, although we do some legit country, we do some like old Opry tunes and Buck Owens tunes, but a lot of it is stuff that was just but a lot of it's just the stuff that was in the Jetpack set anyway. That I said we should just shove all. We just
dressed up differently too.
Yeah, shove it all off into one set and dress up. And while I'm at it, I'll print out a different logo and we'll just pretend we're another band.
He loves going out to perform. I'm gonna drag him into the studio one day.
I liked how you changed the drum head on
I like doing it in front of people, like it's no secret. Well, when we first peel it off and there's the other one behind.
When we first started Rancho Del Rey, it was kind of a joke because we even wore like masks, you know, like Lone Ranger masks, so no one would recognize.
Oh, we didn't tell even our friends. We didn't tell them we were going to do that. So we just showed up and played as our own opening band. Yeah, and she had that story that's I told at the Barclay, is true that you had some friends come in that knew you since high school that also here in California came to see us. They just look real quick at the band that's on and walk to the bar, get
We're
drinks,
gonna wait for this band to
stand in the back, and they're against the wall drinking. And like 3 songs into it, the guy's like, "That's them." Like it took me like 3 songs to figure out we're the same people, which is ludicrous because I mean, even with a mask on, like that's not Jennifer, right?
Yeah, but I guess because we have so much material we can do all night, there's, we don't normally seek out, we like playing with other bands, we really do, but we don't normally seek out putting another band on the bill because we are 2 bands.
Right. So you do a lot of double set nights, splitting it up.
And it's kind of cool because sometimes we get hired as Rancho Del Rey and sometimes we get hired just as Jetpack. So
Yeah, they're like
wow.
when we were at the just playing our local watering hole down the street, which we used as rehearsal. I said we don't rehearse. That's our rehearsal because it's so small. It's just down the street in our monthly thing. But somebody was there from Scout from Knott's Berry Farm, and he was watching Rancho Del Rey play first, and then on break he gave us his card and said, yeah, I need you to call these people and you should play there because they have the whole cowboy land there, or western land. And I was like, you mean as the cowboy outfit that we just played? Because that's just our opening act for the main band. He's like, no, this is great, you should do this. So we went there, and that was our first outing where nobody viewed us as just being a joke, pretending we're not Jetpack, and then revealing ourselves as Jetpack. So we went out as Rancho Del Rey, legitimately, just as, hey, here we are as this act. And it was very freeing that it was almost like getting the stamp of legitimacy that this is its own thing now.
Nice. And it must be rewarding to be able to expand on both both bands. It's kind of freeing, right?
Well, we want to go out and play a lot, so we remain flexible to what the gig calls for. That sometimes we get hired as straight surf, sometimes we get hired as party band, sometimes we get hired as westernish band. So that we're ready for anything for your booking needs.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to watch you perform, and it's a pleasure to talk to you. And hopefully I will see you this summer when I come out to LA and
maybe at the Barclay. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Barclay.
Again, if anybody so desires, in the SoCal area, this is I know Ryan can't enjoy this, but this is here for whomever. Jennifer's a straight up vegan, so she doesn't want to get a whiff of that cheese.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Ryan. It was really good to talk to you. And
see you this summer.
Next time when you're there and the lights are shining on me and I can't focus on who's yelling at me back there, just walk up and give me a jab and go, hey, I'm here. Acknowledge. And yeah, take care. And maybe we'll see you in a few months.
Awesome.